All right, we'll start with copy. The default is black and white. If you're going to copy in color, I would recommend using Auto Color Select. What it does is it pulls the black from a color in a document and charges for black and color accordingly, whereas if you hit full color, it will read everything in the document as color and will charge for color clicks only. So auto color over full color, but black and white is your default. There are reducing and enlarging capabilities that come with this machine. There will be a couple pulled out to the front for you already, such as an 11 by 17 to an 8.5 by 11, or an 8.5 by 11 to an 11 by 17. If you go into this reduce and enlarge menu, you'll see that there are many other options that you can choose from, such as an 8.5 by 14 to an 11 by 17, or another common one is an 8.5 by 14 to an 8.5 by 11. Keep in mind that what you start with on the top is your original, which goes either in the document feeder or on the glass. What you end with is at the bottom, which is your output, which goes into the trays. Just remember to have the correct output paper size loaded whenever you are reducing and enlarging. The default is one-sided to one-sided for copying. You can take a one-sided to a two-sided to a two-sided, or a two-sided back to a one-sided. There is also an option for batch copying, which is essentially if you have a stack of papers that is too big to fit in the document feeder that you want to come out all as the same copy job. So what you'll do is you'll highlight that batch option. You'll put your papers or your first stack of papers in the document feeder here. You'll hit start and send them through. It'll prompt you to keep loading in originals. The cool thing about the batch feature is that you can use the document feeder in conjunction with the glass as well. So say you have a stack of papers that you need to send through, but you need a receipt or a carbon copy as a copy in that stack of papers as well. You can continue sending in your regular sized papers. You can lift up the feeder to reveal the glass, put your odd shaped paper such as your receipt or your carbon copy down on the glass. Close that and hit start. Whenever all of your originals are scanned in, you'll press the pound key and it should come out all as the same copy job for you, as opposed to you having to scan in separate stacks at a time and then I'll place them down in one stack and then I'll place them down in another stack. So that's a neat feature. Finishing features, you have a corner and a 2-position staple. On some models, you will also have a 2 and a 3-hole punch that will be in this bottom corner as well. If you tab into finishing here, you see that you also have the option for a rotate sort, which is if you want your papers staggered. It is already defaulted to collate for you, so it comes out 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, as opposed to the 1s and 2s and 3s all stacked together. We'll go to scanning. The default for scanning should be set to auto color. It doesn't cost to scan in color, so scan away. Your DPI should also be set to something relatively low to start out with, such as 200 or 300 DPI. If you go into scan settings, under resolution, you'll see that you can take the DPI up to 600. Just keep in mind that if you are scanning an 80-page document to an email, some email servers have data caps on them. It could potentially kick your document back if the file is too high of a resolution. So if that happens, just take the file size back down. Default is one-sided for scanning. If you would like to scan in two-sided, select two-sided original from the original feed type option. This is also where your batch option will be located, which is essentially the same thing as copying. It's just whenever you are scanning in that stack of papers that is too big to fit for the document feeder and you break it up into separate stacks, instead of, as in copying, coming out as one copy job, it will come in all as one file type and one email. Under Send File Type and Name, you'll see that the default file type is a PDF multi-page. If you need to, you can also scan in as a TIFF or a JPEG using single page. You can rename the file that you're sending yourself with file name, up to 64 characters, whatever you would like. When all of your settings are set and you are ready to scan, select who you would like to send it to, pop your paper in the document feeder and send it on through. You can send to multiple people at one time if you would like. The next step that we'll go through is how to view your print job log. So you'll go to Printer. All of your print jobs that are currently printing will be held right in here. If you need to emergency stop a print job, you can hit this little stop button in the corner. It's got the little red circle right here. Or you can highlight a job, and when the job is printing, it will give you the delete option. This is where you will also be able to see the error log or why a job didn't print. You'll go into error log right there. It will tell you the user ID, the date and time, the file name, and the error type. All right, so the next step will be document server. This is a helpful function to have if you have a file that you would like stored on the machine where the literature stays the same, but the person filling it out changes. So you'll take your file, you'll put it either in the document feeder or on the glass. You'll go to scanning screen. The targeted folder to store in by default is the shared folder. You can create folders if you would like. You can also change the file name that you're going to be storing. This one is just copy. That is what it comes as default, but you can change it to whatever you would like. So you'll load your paper in, you'll hit start. And when you go into that shared folder, you will then have a file ready for you to print. To print the file, go to the printing screen. If it is just one-sided, ready to go, hit start. The file will then print. So changing toner, you'll pop this little flap down, pull out the toner cartridge that you would like to have changed. If you recycle them, you may recycle them. Grab the new toner cartridge, pop it back into place. You can't put the wrong toner cartridge in the wrong slot. The machine won't let you. Whenever you are changing the waste toner box, I find the easiest way to access it is to pull out this first tray, open up the little flap here, pop your waste toner box out. When your waste toner cartridge gets full, the machine will stop working. If it is full and you don't have a backup on hand, please call our service department. The number is located on the equipment ID tag on the front of the machine. Somebody should be able to assist. If you do have a backup on hand, when you throw this one away and put the backup in, please immediately call or use our online portal to order another backup. Always good to have a backup toner set and a waste toner cartridge on hand. The main power button of the machine is right here. If somebody asks if you tried turning it on and off again, this is what they mean. To access the staples in your machine, you'll open this flap on the side of the machine. You'll pull on this little green tab to pull the mechanism out. And then to get the staples out, you will push down on the green tab that is located on the staple cartridge holder. Whenever you are replacing your staples, you'll lift this little metal tab up, you'll push in on the back sides here, and you will pull the cartridge out. If you have trouble figuring out how to replace them, there are instructions on the inside of the machine. You can also call our service department or myself, and we would be more than happy to walk you through it. Faxing on a RICOH is pretty straightforward. You'll use the fax option. If you have preloaded fax numbers in here already, select one of your numbers. You can select multiple people at one time if you would like as well. If you do not have preloaded numbers, you'll select manual entry. If you had to dial a 9 or a 1 to get out, you'll still do the same thing. So your 9, 1, if you don't have one, that's fine. Your fax number. And then hit OK. You'll put your originals in the document feeder or on the glass. You'll hit start. It will send it through. You also have the ability to fax two-sided if you would like. So under original feed type, you have the option for a two-sided original for faxing.